Hey everyone, I'd like to share with you some products that I purchased for my Ford Maverick. And I want to point out a couple of features and some uses for these. The first one here, this is a Rust-Oleum product. It happens to be the Universal Black. And yes, it says stops rust, but that's more of a trademark. Just be aware that you have to know what you're doing and treat things properly in order to truly stop rust. And I guess you could say it's more of a prohibitor. It's not going to guarantee that there will never be any rust. But this particular one is Universal Black because it's great for trailer hitches. Now, it is a very common thing for a trailer hitch or a trailer hitch receiver to have imperfections with the finish. In fact, everything in this life is going to be imperfect in one way or another. So you can put your mind at ease by not expecting any temporary thing to be perfect forever. But in any case, you can still enjoy it and make it last longer and look nicer and so forth. Well, that's my little bit of philosophy for the day. All right, but back to the product. So this is very nice because hitch receivers as well as the trailer hitch itself can have imperfections around the welds. It appears to be a common thing where the finish, from what I can tell, it is going to be a powder coating. It can have imperfections on those rough areas where the welding was done, and generally a trailer hitch or hitch receiver is supposed to be like a rough and tough item. It's not supposed to be super beautiful per se. So just look out for any imperfections, and if you want it to last longer, or at the very least look newer longer, then watch for any signs of the finish deteriorating, or maybe where it's crumbled off or didn't adhere properly around welds or anything like that. And then if you do find any, check the metal, see if there is any rust. If there is, make sure that you are treating or removing the rust appropriately before you're applying just any type of paint. And as always, make sure you take the time to familiarize yourself with the product, ideally to read all the instructions, cautions, and so forth. But this is a very nice product. It's easy to use, and it being a universal black is excellent for matching a universal black paint, such as with the Ford trailer hitches. Now, one last thing I will mention about it is awesome because yes, it is a 2-in-1 brush and marker. And with that, I generally, with touch-up paint of any kind, like to use the marker or pen, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it's a lot more natural and it's easy to not over-apply the paint. One thing I will mention is with every vehicle that I have purchased since 2005, I have always purchased touch-up paint because since life happens and these vehicles are meant to be driven, sooner or later there's going to be something where you will want to touch it up, and to have the paint, have it ready ahead of time, sometime shortly after purchasing the vehicle ideally, or at the time of purchase. Then when something comes up, as long as you know how to properly use the product and when you need to get more professional help or whatever applies, then you can easily make sure that your vehicle stays at its best and you can avoid any further damage, etc. At least reduce it, right? All right. So with that, let's look at the next product. So this next product kind of looks like an upside down rocket of some kind. But that is the Ford Motorcraft Lacquer touch-up paint. It has the base coat and the top coat. The base coat is the color. The top coat is essentially the clear coat. Now, I have yet to read all of the instructions on this box, but there are multiple instructions if you turn it around. But there are some great videos online for how to use it. But one thing I will mention though, the videos that I found for this product, they emphasize using the brush instead of using the pen. And I've read comments about cutting the tip off of the pen and that sort of thing. But again, I haven't read all the instructions yet, haven't used this particular one yet, but with the particular applicator pens I've used in the past with other vehicles, you don't cut the tip off the pen as far as I recall. And so that may be why people were not getting ideal results. So just make sure you know exactly what you're supposed to do with your individual product before you use it. And like it will encourage you to do, use some relatively solid surface. I've used a piece of cardboard or something similar to that, for example. You could use scrap metal or a clean piece of scrap plastic, that sort of thing, to get used to how it feels in your hand holding the applicator, how quickly it will dispense, and so forth. But back to this particular product, it has an abrasive tip here. Bear with me as I get it in focus. There we go. An abrasive tip, that's that white tip. Underneath that is the applicator pen and the brush, and that again is for the base blue coat. And then you also have your clear coat, essentially your top coat there. Now I say blue because my Maverick is blue. You will notice the B3 code and the full part number there. And you can find in your door jamb of your Ford Maverick the official paint color code in short form, in my case B3. It's also known as 7440, and more information is available like on the Motorcraft website and so forth. But this product looks like it's going to be very nice with the 2-in-1 for the paint plus the abrasive tip, plus it's got the brush and the pen type applicator. All right, so one other little fun fact, and that happens to be that in my garage, it is not an extremely long garage, but it gives me enough room in the back. I know this is random, but I figured, hey, since you're in my garage with me anyway, why not take a look? So yeah, as you can see, there's not a lot of room back there. So if you ever try doing something like that, make sure that you are knowing your markers. Maybe have somebody help you. I had my brother help me make sure that I parked appropriately in the garage the first number of times, and now I use my backup camera and it helps me park easily. So with that, if you're wondering, no, I did not have anything happen because of parking so close to the garage door, and that's why I'm featuring these paint products. But I like filming in my garage when I come to introducing products because I feel like it fits the atmosphere, and hey, why not, right? All right, well, enough chitter chatter, right? I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and if you learned at least one thing from this video, it was a success. Thank you all, and keep being awesome.